Thank you.
Meet Dad. He's a real man.
Got a beer?
7 o'clock in the morning.
Scotch?
An all-out go-getter. But when his job pulled the plug on him,
I'm fired? You son of a dude!
they threw a switch.
Go, better leave. Yes, okay. Good luck.
And he became the lady of the house. It sure looks like he got a terrific deal.
Honey, if you call and I'm not here, I'll be at the gym or at the gun club.
Exercise and relaxation. Good home cooking. Arts and crafts.
Kenny! Don't paint your sister.
And fun and games with the neighbors.
Are these any good?
You got 2 pair. You've got plenty.
That's when he was forced to face the bare facts. His new job is a mother. Michael Keaton
Where's Bobby keep the extra diapers?
and Teri Garr in Mr. Mom, a mother of a comedy.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield. And how'd you like a little trim on that mustache, Ron? Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margot D. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. Don't mind my chainsaw. I'm just updating the house a bit.
Are you using a 21, 22?
Yeah, 21, 22, whatever.
I'm just having some schooner tuna. The tuner with heart.
This movie, oh my God.
So many good jokes. We are dorking out about 1983's Mr. Mom. This is in honor of F This Movie. They had the F This Movie Fest this past weekend where people watch movies all day and you tweet through them. And one of the movies, all the movies were from 1983, and one of them was Mr. Mom, which has been on our list for a long time. So I'm really excited to talk about it. It's written by John Hughes. It's directed by someone named Stan Dragotti, I think is how you pronounce it. Sure, let's say that. And it stars Michael Keaton. How hunky is Michael Keaton in this? Come on.
Told you this began puberty for me. This movie, Michael Keaton is so foxy in this movie.
He's so foxy.
Oh my God. I'm like fanning myself. Like he should be like posters on walls for teenage girls like me. Like, and I still feel this way. I saw the Spider-Man movie just because he's in it.
It's so funny. Like when he's in full dad mode in this movie, I was like, hot, daddy hot.
I kind of can't blame the other women because flirting with him, because I'm just like, yeah.
I get it. Yeah. And then we also have, speaking of foxy, Teri Garr.
Wow.
Yeah. Woo. Martin Mull. He's such a good creep. He plays so good at playing a creep.
He's so funny. He's such a good actor.
He is
so good.
And Jillian as the friend Joan.
Hot.
She's also hot. I'm very triggered by that character. I will admit it.
Sorry.
but like she is real foxy too. And okay, at the beginning of the movie, Michael Keaton is like carpooling. And in the carpool is Jeffrey Tambor and Christopher Lloyd. And I was like, oh my God. Like,
somebody wrote on Twitter, they're like, that's a murderer's row of comedy just in that car right now.
Right. I'm all, what a fun carpool that would be.
I would totally be into that.
Did you see Mr. Mom in the theater?
No, it was one of those, it was on HBO all the time.
Same.
Like for like 2 years or something. And my entire family loved it. Like,
yeah.
Everyone was into it.
I forgot how many times I had seen this movie until I started rewatching it. And I was like, oh, I know this movie very well. Like, I know it like beat by beat. So, but it is, as we like to point out, one of those comedies with jokes. Yay! We love those comedies with jokes. There are so many jokes in this movie.
There are great one-liners. Everybody gets to be funny, by the way.
Yes.
Everyone gets a chance to be funny. There are great one-liners. There's great physical comedy. There's great just looks between characters that are just like a moment, but they're hilarious.
Yes.
I love this movie. It's 90 minutes, by the way.
Yes.
I clocked it. It's like, that's all you need to tell a story, guys.
Yeah. And like, even the kids are funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah. It's real good. And like, if you haven't seen Mr. Mom, what are you doing? Like, pause right now. Go watch Mr. Mom. Come back. And I realize, like, I was a little nervous because I hadn't rewatched it in a long time. I was a little nervous that this idea wasn't going to work for me now. The idea of, like, what? A dad's going to be a stay-at-home parent? That's weird. Like, I was very worried that that shit was not going to work for me and that I was going to be annoyed, even though I know that this movie is filmed and, you know, came out in 1983, this was super normal, by the way. Like, there was a lot of dads who worked and moms who stayed home. That was super normal. And this was this is when things were starting to change, and they're talking about something real here. It's a comedy and it's very silly, but there is like some truth in this movie. So it actually worked for me. I was a little worried that it was going to be like, but dads can't parent.
Well, the trailer that I found for the movie actually at one point says, now he's the lady of the house.
Oh, brother.
It's like, are you? I mean, that's grown worthy, but this movie has like, well, I guess we just go into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. So he works for an automobile company. They build cars. Is this a prequel to Gung Ho?
Keaton was in a lot of comedies. There was The Night Shift he did just before this, which I really love. That's Henry Winkler, Ron Howard. Yeah.
And Shelley Long.
And Shelley Long. Great movie. I mean, he just had a bunch of comedies that came out, and he could do physical comedy. He's just great at the jokes.
Yes. Everyone appreciate Michael Keaton now. Okay,
yes.
Just everyone get on board, get on the train. There's plenty of room. Get on. He's the best.
Yeah.
So he loses his job. It's actually
which is happening.
Yeah, especially in like these like automotive factories, because they were we were seeing like a rise in cars from Japan, and so a lot of American car factories were impacted. This was absolutely something that was happening. The layoff stuff is handled it's pretty funny because, again, he's like getting in the car. It's the murderer's row of comedians in there. And that Jeffrey Tambor's driving the car, and he's like, come on, am I really going to lay off you guys? Like, I like splitting gas money 4 ways. And then they get to work and he's a prick and he lays them all off. And Christopher Lloyd is so funny, just losing his shit about like trying to like attack him. He tries to like jump out a window at one point. Like,
I'm going to get workman's comp.
Yeah, he's like, I'm getting disability out of this. And he's like trying to jump out a window. It's all so funny. And he comes home, and Teri Garr is like, she has nothing but like she's so sweet to him, and you know, it's like, we just want daddy to be happy, you know, let's, you know, try to make him feel better. And like the minute he walks through the door, one of the kids is like, we heard you got fired. And she's like, here, I got us Kentucky Fried Chicken for dinner. Like, he's like, we can't afford that. Like,
that stuff is expensive, by the way. I forget. Yeah.
Yeah. And then even just the kid going, let's enjoy this meal. It might be our last. It's just so funny. And they make a bet, and who could get a job first between the two of them. And honestly, that in a movie now, that would probably be the whole movie. Is like, who's going to get a job first, you know? But it doesn't do that. It cuts right away to her, just boom, she gets a job. And she gets a job working at an ad agency with Martin Mull as her boss. And Michael Keaton's going to stay home, and he's going to run the house and take care of the kids. And she's off to work at the ad agency.
And she looks great.
Oh my God, she looks so beautiful. I'm like, I would wear those clothes.
It's
like,
those suits. Yeah. I mean, because there were some heinous fashions for women in the 80s.
Yeah.
But she wears a pussy bow so well.
I didn't know that was what they were called. And somebody tweeted that out yesterday. And I had no idea that's why is it called that? Do I want to know?
You know what? I never even thought of it. No, I have no idea. Somebody tell us.
I don't know, but I didn't know that. And I have multiple shirts that have pussy bows. So I guess I'm a pussy girl.
You are.
So she gets a job at an ad agency. It's mostly men. And they immediately are shitty to her. And that's one of the things that drives me nutso in the movie. But it's very realistic. And she walks in, it's a room full of dudes. They're all smoking. And I'm really impressed with Carolyn, actually. She stands up for herself right away in that she's like, none of this stuff would speak to me.
Right.
Like, and she shoots down all their ideas for schooner tuna. Schooner
the
tuna.
With
the tuna with a heart. Like, I don't want a heart in my tuna. That's disgusting.
Well, Martin Mull was her boss, Ron.
Yes. Ron.
Ron. And I love that. I said that in Twitter, like the 80s, like where everybody's smoking at a conference table and there are no windows.
No,
not even like those ashtrays that's supposed to suck up the smoke. Like it's nothing. And they give her a hard time. They don't treat her seriously because she's a mother.
Yeah,
just came in.
Yeah, they're constantly like, referring to her as little girl. Like, you must be proud of our little Carolyn here. I'm like, fuck off. Like, ugh.
Yeah, but she handles it. Because look, she's got she handles it. She has her shoulders back.
Yeah.
She chin up. There's a woman there that's kind of being threatening to her, but she isn't too bad.
Yeah.
But then Carolyn's good at the job because she's the one who really knows her business. She knows what it's like to shop at the supermarket. A lot of the humor is Michael Keaton trying to figure out, things like dropping the kids off at school.
Which by the way,
pick up, you moron.
It's 100% a thing. That is a thing. I am in like a parents group. My kid takes a school bus, so I don't have to deal with it. But I get an email almost every day from the school that's like, please remember that it's like north to pick up and south to drop off. And it's like, there's a whole thing about like how you pick up your kids and how you drop off your kids. So when he's doing it wrong and like the kids are like, you're doing it wrong. And then the parent, Annette, goes, hi, Jack, I'm Annette. You're doing it wrong. Like, it's a thing. It's a thing.
It's totally a thing. Yes.
And he goes to he can't even navigate the grocery store. The kids are just destroying the place. It's like, Irv, clean up on aisle 4. Irv, clean up on aisle 7. And I do laugh out loud when he's going to buy the maxi pads and he's trying to be like cool about it. It's like
that old chestnut.
Yeah, that old chestnut of, ew, women get their periods. But like the way he's doing it and he's trying to like casually grab the box and he's like.
The physical comedy.
Yeah.
Man.
It's so funny. It's just funny. And that's when he meets Jillian. And she is a character named Joan and she's beautiful. And she immediately is like, I'm going to fuck that guy. And
did you remember It's a Living?
Yes.
Okay, so she is a show that I thought might be my future, which was a show where these really gorgeous women in these gorgeous outfits, these like black dresses and high heels, and they were waitresses at this restaurant, and it was like a top of the mark kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they had a piano player named Sonny, and Jillian was like the super foxy.
Oh my gosh, so foxy.
And she had blonde hair and this blunt kind of haircut, and she was so hot and so funny. That was like, life's not the French Riviera, believe me, life's not a charity ball. I love this show. So when I always think of that when I see her in things. Yep, that's her.
Yes, my hatred for Joan is not directed at Jillian in any way.
New thing.
And like, I will say this, Joan is probably super fun. Like at some point,
was a
like Joan,
blast.
Joan and all the other like lady friends take Jack to like a strip club, which by the way,
My favorite scene.
oh my friends and I totally rewound that scene over and over and over when we were kids because we wanted to look at the dudes stripping.
Yeah, of course.
Because we're, curious little, 11, 12-year-olds. Just checking it out. And I was like, I'm sure she's super fun. She like gets out there. She's on the dance floor doing her little,
Hey, Flash!
yeah, doing her little wiggle. Like she's probably super fun, but also I'm like, fuck off, Joan. Like, stop throwing yourself at a married man.
Yeah, even if he is Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Which I do have that struggle there because a part of me is like,
True.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
also,
around.
it's so
He doesn't know what he's doing.
it's true.
He needs help.
He needs help.
He needs help. So I love the vacuum cleaner.
Jaws.
There's a lot of movie references in here. He has 2 sons. They're both adorable.
Yes.
They're so cute. And the little one has a blanket he carries. It's called the Whoopee.
His whoopee.
And it probably stinks to high heaven.
Did you have a whoopee?
No. My brother John did.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
I
He was
had
a thumbsucker too.
I had 2 things like that. I had a baby blanket that I still have, and it's tucked away in a drawer somewhere. I don't sleep with it. Come on, you guys. Get it together. And I also have a little stuffed penguin named Wobbles, and Wobbles is also tucked away in the drawer with the blanket. Just everybody's
Aw.
safe is what I'm saying. But yeah, I refuse to get rid of them. I won't. But yeah, so basically I had a whoopee.
And they have a little baby that's beautiful.
Adorable.
Just a
Everybody
cherub. A cherub.
Yes.
This little blonde baby. And so he has to then take care of all these kids and get them to school and get the house clean and get the meals together. I love he's at the deli counter and he doesn't like, can I have some ham? Like, well, what kind?
Oh
8
my God. And
hams,
everyone's
sugar-
like,
Get some bologna, move on.
so many jokes. Also, like, I was like, Carolyn set him up to fail here because there's like one day and like everyone and their fucking brother shows up at the house to like fix the TV. The exterminator shows up. Like all these people are in the house and he's trying to like clean and take care of these kids, and like the washing machine breaks and he has like the fight with the washing machine, and that's when the baby gets her hand on chili and she's eating chili, and all of them are like, you fed a baby chili.
And then they all take out of it like a
Yeah.
bat out of hell.
Just run off.
And Ron's made it very clear he's very attracted to Teri
Oh my God,
Garr.
he's so gross. It's like day 1 and he's like, you want to get lunch? Like he's being gross instantly.
But who could blame him?
Because she's Teri fucking Garr. She's so beautiful.
She's impossibly beautiful and funny and smart. And look, he can't help himself. I'm sorry, I'm giving him excuses. But you know what I mean. This is
Yes.
a movie we're all talking about. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, but it's because Michael Keaton and Teri Garr. First of all, they are such an attractive couple. They have such great chemistry. They are so fun together. I really feel like they love each other.
Absolutely love each other. But so as she's starting to figure out her way around the office and office politics, he's figuring out the home. And I love it when he's claiming to like refurnish the house because Ron shows up like to take Carolyn out. And he says, want a beer? He's like, it's 7 a.m. Scotch.
It's again solid fucking joke, like a joke, and the delivery is so funny, and like her coming down and seeing him dressed like that, and she's like, oh, like, like of course he's dressed like that. Of course he's doing it. Yeah, she's like, I see what you're doing here. It's so ridiculous. I love it.
But she becomes more successful at the job. And that's when we find out they have an Olympics at Ron's house.
Oh my, his company picnic.
And then, and he doesn't want to go. And she's like, I went to all these for you.
Yeah.
We got to go here. And he says, oh, don't you like a little Carolyn? She got a raise and a promotion.
Don't
'Cause
talk
she
about
doesn't-
her like that. Like it's a parent teacher conference or something. I'm like, it's so just. Blah.
But I love it when he does. They're like, oh, we can only stay for a few minutes, and Ron kind of like dick shames him into like joining the Olympics, but he's kicking ass. But he can see that he's not allowed to win. That's not possible.
Right.
And he takes it for her. It's very funny. They're all trying to grab his foot as he's running. They're running in flippers. It's just, and then Martin Mull's like, I won. That was me.
Oh my God, he's such an asshole. Like, it's like he can't.
Asshole.
Yeah, I don't know does he know that everyone's throwing it, or does he really think he wins it every year coincidentally? I don't know, but either way, he's such an entitled prick.
He is. He's an entitled prick.
Yes, all the stuff about like how he lives in this like house that his grandfather built, and Jack's like, "Oh, it's a hand-me-down." Like this hand-me-down house. So good.
It is, and then then we get to the part where Jack is starting to lose it. You know, it's the monotony of every day, kind of going into the next one. The whole Young and the Restless.
Oh my God, so funny.
The best.
I used to watch
best.
soap operas all the time, and like my mom watched soap operas. She was a stay-at-home mom for years. Did you watch Young and the Restless, Margot?
Did I watch it? Did I love it? Was I totally into it? Do I understand all the references to Victor and Nikki and the Abbott family and Jabot Cosmetics? Oh, I watched it.
It doesn't sound like you're a real fan.
No, I have no idea.
I watched Young and the Restless for a while. My mom was purely an ABC soap opera girl, so
Yeah.
a lot of like One Life to Live, General Hospital, All My Children in my house. But all that stuff was on, all of it, all the time.
Every day, it was a new story every day. I mean, the stories moved at a glacial pace. But it was an hour every day. And lots of people were hooked on it. When I was in college, there were dudes that were watching it, like in the group, TV in the break room.
Yeah,
or
I used to
whatever.
do that too. I used to have my lunch in the like student lounge or whatever. And people would, by the way, lose their shit if like they didn't come and put a soap opera on. Like if it was like on a news channel or something, people are like, "It's time for all my children." Blah, 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 blah. Like people would freak out and they'd come and like have to change the channel. And sometimes I would get so involved in the soaps, I would miss my next class because I'd be like, "Oh shit!" and like, ugh, they are so fun. They're just fun.
80s soap operas in the 80s were so much fun.
They were.
It's a magical time.
Yeah, I used to run home from school to watch Days of Our Lives.
We didn't have a VHS. We didn't have a VCR. Excuse me. No, and by the way, blank tapes were expensive. Like you couldn't just. Yeah, so there was a big deal. No, I every once in a while I'll go through the rabbit hole on YouTube and just look up old General Hospitals from the 80s, and it's a goddamn delight.
It's so good. You can watch all the like Luke and Laura cuts.
Yep,
that's the thing. So we were before we got into soaps, we were talking about we were talking about how Jack is starting to lose it. Like he's like not showering. He's wearing the same flannel shirt every day. And he goes on this rant about like, he's like, my brain is like oatmeal. He says, I yelled at the kids for like coloring outside of the lines. you know?
And she's like, yeah, I get it, dude. Like it's, but you have to take pride in what you're doing. He's having a hard time adjusting because he's used to, I love the beginning of the movie where he goes to the site, the job site.
Yeah.
And he's like, my wife and I saw this Rocky movie the other night. He's trying to inspire their coworkers, and they're just like, which one? 1, 2, or 3? Well, was it Mr. T? It's obvious he had no idea what he was saying.
when he walks away, and they're like, yeah, go get him, boss, or whatever. And he's like doing his fist pumps or whatever. And they're like, he hasn't seen Rocky.
He doesn't know anything about Rocky. But he's used to, we used to, especially like before we were all sent home from COVID, if you like going to work, if you're an extrovert, and especially back then, because there was no like working from home, really. I mean, some people did, but it was very challenging. And here he is, he's like, he's home all the time, right? He's used to having his cohorts, his friends to like talk to every day. And he was an engineer. He missed doing that.
Yeah.
And it's, it gets monotonous. Laundry gets monotonous, vacuuming for sure.
Yes, of course. And like but it's interesting. Like, so he does eventually like turn it all around. But I love what Carolyn says, because he says, if you were unhappy, why didn't you say something? And she says, because I wasn't unhappy. And she says, like, sometimes I was confused or maybe I got frustrated, but raising human beings is important.
Right.
And I was like, that is still true. And like, also like the privilege of being able, now it feels like a luxury to have a parent that could stay home. Like,
absolutely.
That is not something that it's like, wait, only one of them has to get a job? What a fucking treat. Like, that is like not what happens now. Like,
no. And they had enough of his severance and stuff to kind of like tide them over a little bit. But she needs to work. But it's so funny you said that, because like, it was not that long ago, but about 10 years ago, I worked a gig in Miami. And so I was listening to the rock morning show.
Yeah.
And it's these two men, and they come up with a topic and people call in. And they were like, do you guys split the chores when you're at home? What's that like? And so many people called like, yeah, we both work, but then, what I do is I did it, I emptied the dishwasher, but I did it badly. I've never had to do it again. Ba-ba-bing.
That, okay. There is, I love that we are now pointing these things out. That is called weaponized incompetence. Mm-hmm. And a lot of women aren't putting up with that shit anymore. Like, I'm not married anymore, but when I was married, there was definitely like things I did and things he did. And I would say that it was reasonably split, but I know that there's definitely a thing now where it's like women work all day too, and then they come home and they're in charge of like helping kids with their homework and doing the laundry and making dinner and all these things. And then when dudes are asked to help, they purposely fuck it up. So the women will be like, just let me do it, and like push them out of the way. And the dads are like, yay. And then they go fucking hide in the bathroom for like 2 hours to take the longest shit or whatever. And like, there are women that are calling that shit out now, and they're not having it. And it's about equal partnership. And so if I'm
backing each other up.
Yes, exactly. Because that's what a partnership should be. It
right.
should, like, how ridiculous is it to still expect women to do a majority of the work? Like, that's bullshit. It's bullshit.
It's total bullshit. And also, working from home when you have kids is no walk in the park.
No.
And especially, and it still falls upon women to be the one that drops the kids off at school or arranges the doctor appointments.
Yeah.
On top of everything. And Jack he falls down for just a little bit, and they all make fun of how he's gained this weight. I'm like, he's not worse than
my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. He put on like 5 pounds.
Maybe. I mean, I know he's slim, but oh my god! But he does that, and then but the whole sequence is like he's drinking beer and he's falling asleep to Young and the Restless, and then he pictures Joan coming over and like wearing a negligee under a trench coat, which a lot of guys in the Twitter groups, I love me a trench coat because she looks amazing.
It's such a thing, like in movies, especially in the 80s, where the woman is wearing a coat and then she's got her lingerie underneath. I'm like,
we've seen it a few times actually.
Yeah,
Ruthless People.
Remember that? I'm like, I think I wouldn't be surprised if men in our generation have a whole fetish about trench coats because of that.
Just because of that.
Yes.
Yeah. But he imagines that. He imagines Carolyn coming home and catching him. I love it. He's like kissing him. And she comes to the room. He puts his finger up like, just a second.
Oh, my God. And then she like pulls, this part made me laugh so hard. She pulls the gun out and he's like, what are you doing? Like, think of the kids. They're right outside. And she's like, oh, I thought of the kids. And then she puts a silencer on the gun.
And she shoots him, and Martin Mull shows up, and he lands, and there's the tape on the floor outlining, and then he has to scooch over to fit into the tape. And then Martin Mull's like, ooh, did you shoot him with 38? Because I had 38, 39. Whatever
works. Whatever gets the job done. Jokes. So many jokes.
By funny people.
Yes.
Like, just, and you don't dwell on anything. Just boom, boom, boom. And then immediately that's his wake-up call. Like, I got to get my shit together. Like, this is not, if I'm going to be this, I'm going to be the best I can at it. I'm going to do the best I can. And that's what she needs from me. And so he really becomes the super partner.
Yes.
And gets everybody up in the morning, makes the breakfast, paints the yard, paints the white picket fence. He then schools the dude about parking,
Yeah, he's like, get it right next time, pal. He's got Jaws, the vacuum cleaner, on a remote. Like
and then he burns his flannel shirt, and the whoopee scene where he's trying to encourage his son. That always gets my heart. Always. Because that's such a great thing to do.
And he handles it like so well, and just there's jokes. It's like, hey, it starts with a whoopee, and next thing you know, you're strung out on electric blankets or whatever. Like there's a joke, but like it's also really, really sweet. Like how he does it. And that kid is so good where he's just like, I need a moment to myself. It's like...
And he just lays down on the bed and crosses his hands behind his head. He's just thinking, and the other son's like, you had to do it.
It's so good.
Then we get where Carolyn is the only one that the Schooner Tutor people like, because she doesn't bullshit them. She completely is like, no, you're doing it wrong. This is how you sell to women like me. And so she's going to Hollywood to film the commercial, and Jack is at home, and the wives are taking him out. I don't know what the reason is, but the wives, his girlfriends, are taking him out, and they go to the Chippendales-ish club.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And if they were all like that, I would totally go, because I mean, it's not. I've been to such gross ones.
We talked
whole episodes on it.
Yeah, we've done whole like what a creep episodes about like the rise of Chippendales and stuff like that. And this was definitely a thing in the late 70s, early 80s. Like these like Chippendales type clubs were definitely a thing. And I think there were quite a few movies where they inevitably end up at places like this.
And what I appreciate about this movie is there's no gay panic. He's in the front row. He's like, having a fun time.
Yeah.
He
gives the guy the money.
He says, you don't know where this has been.
Like,
he points to the O's. Are these guys from NASA?
They're not from NASA. But the dancer takes the dollar, and he's like shoving it in his G-string or whatever, and he's like, and he's trying not to look, and he's like, where did he put it? And they're like, don't tell me. And...
But they have a great time, and then they drop him off at home. And it's funny, hey, you guys might need this. It's the number from that street. Which I bet he did give him his number.
I'm sure he did. I would too. I'd be like,
Keaton is foxy.
He's foxy. I get it.
Can't resist. Irresistible. He comes home, and Net's been watching the kids as the sitter, and then he and Teri Garr had an argument. So he's kind of like, the kids are like, come on, let's call mom. He's like,
oh, this scene.
And he just happens to call her at her hotel when she's taking a bath, and Ron just helps himself into her room.
Fucking creep. Such a creep
in his bathrobe. In a bathrobe, once again, the creeps in their bathrobes.
Ugh.
Invading personal space.
I'm surprised he didn't ask for a massage.
Ugh.
Gross.
Oy. So he answers the phone. So then he thinks Ron's in the room with his wife.
Yeah.
Doing the dirty. So he's pissed.
Yes.
And he kicks the TV, which, by the way, TV repairman was a thing. I was little.
Yes.
But I remember them. They used to come over. It was really expensive. She says one point she makes $45 an hour. I'm like, damn, like 40 years ago? That's some good cash.
Serious money. Look, TV repairmen, plumbers.
Yeah.
Like they make serious dough. And well, TV repairmen, not so much anymore. Now it's like, you just need to go buy yourself a new TV.
Yeah, they have people that come out and they try to connect the Wi-Fi. And I love that it's a woman doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
or the exterminator who's like, I'm going down to the basement to check for bugs. Ooh, I hope there aren't any.
And then looks at Joan and goes, "Oh, hi, Joan."
Oh,
She's kind of looking like, oops.
He knows. He knows. Everyone knows Joan.
But Carolyn has a great idea for Schooner Tuna, and she gets Tuna, and she gets the president to do the commercial. They come back, they make up. That's a great sequence because he's like so angry, like he's like redecorating the house. Joan comes over because fucking Joan. Carolyn comes home, and then Martin Mull shows up with flowers.
Yeah. So Carolyn gets out of the tub, and I can't even fucking imagine. She gets out of the tub, and her fucking boss is in her room in a robe, with like a dinner,
champagne.
like champagne, and he like instantly is like putting the moves on her, and she's like, "You need to leave," and he of course doesn't take no for an answer, and she punches him in the face, and I think I tweeted, I was like, "Now hurry home and punch Joan in the face too." like she clocks him one. It's so satisfying.
It's very satisfying. And she comes home. So Jack doesn't know this, but basically, and then Jeffrey Tambor, by the way.
Oh my God. All of that stuff.
All that stuff is great. It's also, once they don't dwell on it too much. Jack's not able to find a job. He goes on a few interviews. It doesn't work out. So they finally call him back to the plant, the first job. And they have him come in, and basically he outs the fact that like it's Jeffrey Tambor, of course, because he's always the bad guy.
Yeah.
But he's screwing up the company, and they need Jack, and they need him and his friends. And it's just the exterminators there, and everybody's like going.
The TV repair person's back. Everyone's back.
And they just kind of tie it up that everyone makes up.
Yes, it's very satisfying.
It's really satisfying, and it's smart, and it's funny, and it's like wonderful 80s loveliness. It's just really good. There's not a wasted scene.
No.
Everything makes sense. It's 90 minutes. It just goes by nicely.
And it's fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's funny with like people you actually really like. Like even Martin Mull, you're like, what a fucking creep. But like he's still Martin Mull. You're like,
he's still charismatic. He's still like he's cool. Yeah, you like to watch him.
All of it. It's just, but it really is like the wrong person playing the Michael Keaton part. This would have been a very different movie. I think Michael Keaton is so likable, and he's so funny. And I love him. I just love Michael Keaton, and I love him in this movie. I think he's really, really funny. And this is before Batman. This is before Beetlejuice.
Right.
Like he's just legit great. Dude's a treasure. Everyone, get on the Keaton train.
Get on the Keaton train, y'all, because there's always some humor. Almost always some humor in what he's doing. I mean, he's very, very funny. He's great as Vulture.
Yes.
In the Spider-Man movie. He's hotter than shit. He's foxy.
Oh my, do you know what I love? I love him even in Out of Sight, which I love with George Clooney and Jennifer Lopez, and she's dating Michael Keaton. And there's a scene where like he's a fellow FBI agent, and he's wearing a shirt that says FBI or something, and like her dad's like, "Do you wear that one undercover or whatever?" Like it's just like it's so funny. Like, and I was like, I get it. I get why she would go out with Michael Keaton. He's Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
right. Love him. It was such a good rewatch, and like rewatching it is part of F This Movie Fest, and everyone's tweeting about it. I think it played really well. Like everyone seemed to really be enjoying it. Everyone was getting on that Keaton train. And
Teri
Garr.
All the men on Twitter that were watching it were just in love with Teri Garr.
Yeah.
Like one guy, at one point she says, "Call me later." And a guy clipped it, and he's like, "Yes, I will, Teri."
Yes, I will. Hubba hubba. It was such a good one. I'm so glad that we finally watched it.
I told you, it's been one of mine.
Yes. It's been on the list for a long time, so I'm glad we finally did it. There were, I have a list of other 83 movies, but I also wanted to mention the other movies that were part of F This Movie Fest, so I put them in the list. We also watched War Games, which is great. I love War Games. It's so fun.
It's a great movie. I didn't watch it yesterday, but that's one of my favorites from back in the day.
Yeah, Matthew Broderick and Ali Sheedy, so cute, adorable. Everybody drink this. It's a good one. Superman 3.
I couldn't even.
Okay, I watched Superman 3, and that movie's fucking bananas. It's a bananas movie that doesn't make any sense at all. But I will say this, Christopher Reeve was fucking dope as Superman and Clark Kent. Like, he's so good.
Head and shoulders. And I think like Henry Cavill's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it, but there's nothing like the original Superman.
No,
and that's original to me.
Yeah, he's so good as Superman. But his Clark Kent is so great, and then Annette O'Toole is playing Lana Lang in it, and like she is also Foxy. I mean, so many Foxy ladies in this lineup. But like Christopher Reeve is just chef's kiss as Superman, and that makes it worth watching. So I bailed out on this one, but I know other people love it. Krull. It wasn't for me. Which is fine. And then Valley Girl, which we've done before.
Perfect movie.
That movie played so well, and I am still convinced that Nicolas Cage and Deborah Foreman were really in love in that movie, and I won't hear any different. It's so good. The soundtrack in that movie, by the way, every song is a fucking banger. So good. And then the last one was Return of the Jedi.
Which your son loved.
Yeah, I watched that one with Calvin. It totally played for him. He was into it, which made me so happy because I love Star Wars. I love all the Star Warses out there. And I think Return of the Jedi is super fun. I definitely went through a bitter stage where I was like, fuck Return of the Jedi. It has Ewoks. And then I fucking grew up and was like, no, Return of the Jedi is super fun. And I still love it.
It's still Star Wars.
And then I wrote down a couple of other 83 movies. The Man with Two Brains, starring Steve Martin. Is that
Steve Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never seen that.
We should talk about it sometime because it's real funny. It's a bananas movie. It's real funny. Staying Alive.
Not a good movie. This is the end. Boom, boom, boom. It's
far from over.
It's a sequel to Saturday Night Fever, 6 years later or something. And Frank Stallone does the. God, we watched at a party once in my apartment when I used to have big parties. I had two roommates, and we put that on. And in the first 5 minutes, Sylvester Stallone, he's in the credits.
Yes,
walking down the street in a huge fur coat.
Okay. Yes, I saw Staying Alive.
He's the director of the movie. That's why.
I saw Staying Alive in the theater with my mom and like her sisters, so my aunts. And they were all like John Travolta's like, I mean, he's so sexy, right? Like they were all the audience was almost all women. And like he's walking down the street and he bumps into Sly Stallone and he turns around and everyone in the audience was like, so ridiculous. No, go ahead.
Ridiculous. It's a ridiculous coat. We should probably cover it one day.
I was just going to say we should do Saturday Night Fever and Staying Alive together.
I've seen Saturday Night Fever 1,000 times, so that would be fun.
Yeah, we could do them together. And then last movie, Cujo.
Great movie, fucked up movie.
Fucked up movie. I'm not going to be rewatching Cujo anytime soon. But...
I read it one time when I was way too young to probably take that in.
Yeah.
And the movie freaks me out. And I love dogs, and I know it's fake, and I know it's like, but still.
That's why I struggle with that. I struggle with that one on multiple levels. There's the kid factor that makes me sweaty and nervous that there's a kid in danger, and then throw a dog in there. It's too much for me. I can't take it.
Are you ready for the top 10 songs from this week?
Oh man, I can't wait.
In 1983, when did this movie come out?
It was in July.
July of 83. Okay, so this is the top 10. This is U.S. pop hits. Donna Summer, She Works Hard for the Money.
Fucking love Donna Summer.
These are bangers. Okay, Stevie Nicks, Stand Back.
Love Stevie Nicks. Come on. Who doesn't love Stevie Nicks?
Duran Duran, Is There Something I Should Know?
I love Duran Duran. These are all so good.
These are great. Madness, Our House.
Oh my God, I loved Madness.
The Kinks, Come Dancing. Great song.
Shit.
Number 5, Michael Jackson, Want to Be Starting Something.
Okay, I mean, Thriller, you just couldn't get away from it.
Yeah. This is a ballad. Sergio Mendes with Joe Pizzullo and Lisa Miller. Never gonna let you go.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna
Hold you forever. Oh, boy. Such a slow dance song.
Number 3, couldn't get away from this. R.I.P. Irene Cara, What a Feeling.
Oh, my. That song. Damn.
Good song.
Everywhere.
Number 2, Eddie Grant, Electric Avenue. Good song.
That song is so good, and it's also in Valley Girl. But that's
then,
such a good song.
Number 1, and it was 3 weeks at number 1, The Police, Every Breath You Take.
I had that album, too. I had it on cassette. Every one of those is a fucking jam.
They're all bangers. They're all great.
Good list. What else are you dorking out about, my friend?
I don't have a lot this week. You and I both had other things we had to do, but I did watch. Netflix has a new Next in Fashion, and it's with Gigi Hadid and Tan France from Queer Eye. I like those fashion shows. I do get into it, the competition shows, because they are really talented.
Yes, they are.
So I just started watching. I only watched a couple of episodes, but I found it really enjoyable. Last night, I'm looking for things, and I'm like, I got to watch something new because I've been rewatching things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or we talk about every week is Peacock with Poker Face and Shrinked, which are still great.
Oh my God. Poker Face is so good. And I just watched the most recent one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Stephanie Sue. Is that how you pronounce the last name? From Everything Everywhere. That was a really good episode.
It's Ryan Johnson wrote it. I mean,
every episode is fucking good.
This is gonna be. They need to have this forever, like they had Columbo forever. Like my mom had Columbo. This is what I want.
Yes.
And then so last night, I checked out Paramount TV. Haven't checked it out in a while, and they have the movie Babylon.
Oh.
Fuck me. This movie, I lasted an hour, and I had to get out.
I didn't even bother. I couldn't do it.
So fucking gross. From the first second, it's like, Baz Luhrmann's Elvis movie.
Yeah.
Without the charm.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just loud in your face. It's like too many people in a shot. It's all these orgies. See, it's about filmmaking, and at the start of the talkies in the 1920s, and Brad Pitt is playing John Gilbert, and Brad Pitt's playing an alcoholic who's shitty to his wives. And we've just heard a lot about him in the last.
Mm-hmm.
And then Margot Robbie, who I really love.
And we love her.
Love her. The name is enough for me, but but she's really great. But it's sort of like, why did she agree to? I mean, I don't. That's never fair, because people read something and they think it's going to be one thing and it turns out to be another. I just think it's very loud. It's very crude, and I just don't find anybody likable or somebody that I'm rooting for. Yeah. And I don't need everything to be likable. Believe me, like Ruthless People, like Danny DeVito on Ruthless People is a pig.
He's so gross.
He's so gross, but he's entertaining as shit.
Yeah.
It's too much. And I think part of it is maybe it's something to watch on a big screen, but it's also just depressing. And it's just, I don't know why it doesn't work. It's just too much, too loud.
The previews for me, I was like, no, thank you. It looked too busy.
It's too busy.
Almost aggressive. There's something about it that rubbed me the wrong way.
A series, in the very first scene, there's a woman peeing on a guy.
Oh, hard pass.
Yeah. I was, and whatever you're into.
Yeah.
But I was like, ooh, that's not the kind of movie I was going to see.
This is the same director who did Whiplash, and he did La La Land, which I love. Like, I there's definitely been like a La La Land backlash, but like I still love La La Land. But then after that, he did First Man, which was fucking boring, and this one just looked like not my jam. I can watch Baz Luhrmann movies, but like they take me a little while to settle down because they're very busy, and they come on like really, really hard for me. And I'm like, whoa, Baz Luhrmann, you're coming on a little too strong. And this one looked like it's all that.
And more.
Yeah. And
There's
I'm like,
just
no, thank you.
build up. And it's just, people are assholes. And I did a ton of research about early movie making for my book. So it's not, so it was like stuff I already know. And it's like there's this book that came out, Kenneth Anger, and it was called Hollywood Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all these like, do you know Bing Crosby was gay with Gary Cooper and caught in a threesome with them and Betty Davis with a pool boy and a blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just, it's a great read. It's fun to read, but it's like, is this true?
Yeah.
I mean, or somebody do a lot of coke and just write this shit out. I don't know. But I think they did the same thing with I'm not saying they did drugs, but it's just messy. It's loud.
Okay.
It's crude. I'm sorry. Right, Max?
I know.
Yeah.
Max is like, hard pass.
Hard pass. And that's all I have to say about that. I don't know. That and Baby Mama, I have no idea how they end, and I don't care. For different reasons.
For different reasons.
Don't care.
Okay. Did you watch The Mandalorian?
No, I'm saving that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We talked about this. So I'm watching The Mandalorian. I'm so happy it's back. I love The Mandalorian. I'm all in on it. I haven't watched all the Star Wars shows because that's a lot. So I start The Mandalorian, and it does not seem to be picking up where it left off. And I was very confused. And it turned out that like you need to have watched like 2 to 3 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett to understand why The Mandalorian is picking up where it is. And that made me so fucking annoyed. I can't even tell you. I was like, how dare you make me do homework to enjoy this show? But I went back and watched those episodes. They're good because I love The Mandalorian and I love Baby Yoda, and it's great. And then the new episode, I think I'm now one behind because the new one probably dropped last night and I haven't watched it yet. But it's really great. So, hot take, everyone. The Mandalorian's great. It's just super fun. I love that Baby Yoda is back, and that his whole thing in the first 2 seasons was him like kind of trying to like get rid of Baby Yoda. Like he wants to like find his people and like drop him off or whatever. And now this isn't a spoiler, but like, because Baby Yoda's back, he is all in on having him there. And I like that. I like that we're done with that part of the story. So now it's moved on to a new task, and I'm not going to spoil that for anyone who hasn't watched it yet, but it's great.
Yeah, I think I'm like Wednesday or Thursday this week. I've like set some time aside.
Yeah.
But I also have I have to do a new creep.
Yeah,
Friday,
we have homework to do. That's why my list is really short. I also I finished Southern Scandal on Netflix, the Alec Murdaugh documentary.
Yes.
I finished it just in time for the verdict to come out, and I was like, good timing, Sonia. So I look forward to watching some follow-ups on that, because I have no doubt that like Dateline and 2020 are going to come out with their shit, and I can't wait.
Well, they got to figure out if Buster had anything to do with Steven's death. And I don't know if they ever will.
Family, man.
I really was like,
wow.
I'm shocked, because I was like, because that family's been in charge for so fucking long.
Yes.
And it's Yeah. So I mean, I think it's the fact that he was lying all this time about being there, and then he took the stand.
Yes.
In his defense, and that's his arrogance right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he just thought he could talk his way out of it.
Yeah.
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 He's such a fucking creep. I have no doubt that this whole family is not, well, a majority of the family is going to end up on our show at some point, is going to end up on Creep, because the story is just bananas.
Well, Mandy Mantney, that's her name, Mandy Mantney. She has a show, a podcast, and she's been following the story since like the summer it happened. The first, the murders happened. So she's from the area, and she lays it out so brilliantly. This family, there's so much, like the housekeeper died on their property. And she was like in her 50s. And then they just said, natural causes. Like, what?
What the fuck?
And then he says, okay, I'm going to sue on your behalf to collect, and I'm going to give you the money. So he sues for $4 million. He keeps that money. He doesn't give it to her sons.
So
one of them
shitty.
Is developmentally disabled and can't take care of himself. Gets evicted from his trailer because of him. And I'm telling you right now, there's money on offshore accounts. There's no way all that money is just pills.
And it turned out he took out the the insurance policy on the house or whatever the month before she died. Like, that's not fucking suspicious. Like, come on. It's so much. There's so much. And just the fucking I'm getting all angry now. The privilege of being like, fuck your life, I need my money, is so shitty.
And to see how, so it starts with that documentary starts with Buster, and it's Paul. Did you watch the trial at all? The kid's name is Paul, and everywhere he describes him as Paul. Paul and his mother were murdered on their property.
Yeah. And
the whole thing he's going to trial for is that they're saying he did it.
Yes.
And he's saying, no, I wasn't even there when it happened. I found them. And then it turns out he was there like 5 minutes before the shooting happened. And it's like a huge property. Like, someone's just going to wander there and kill two people when the most powerful person in the state.
He's so shitty.
He's so shitty. But they open it with the son, Paul, who was drunk and got wasted and was in a boat and then just crashed the boat into this cement pylon thing. And this girl, was her name Mandy? God damn, what's her name? She's 19.
It's like Mandy or Megan. I forget. I want to say it's probably Mandy. I think it's Mandy.
But she's 19 years old.
Yeah. And
she's killed.
So awful.
And I'm sorry, I'm getting all my names mixed up. Sorry, we didn't expect to talk about this. But she was this, and Alex showed up, and they were just like walking around the hospital, like, don't talk to anybody. We'll take care of this. And Buster is so Paul is so fucking wasted.
Yeah.
Like, he's 3 times the limit for alcohol.
And they try to blame it on another kid. Yeah.
And just the amount of corruption and I was just like, there's going to be enough for doubt, right?
Yeah.
But the jury was like, as soon as he got on the stand and he admitted he'd been lying this whole time, and it's one of those, well, I lie all the time except for now. It's like, nah.
So believe me now. And everyone's like, guilty.
But did you see the judge talk to him before he gave his sentence, and he said, I didn't do this, and the judge looks and goes, it could have been all those pills you were on. I'm sure maybe you're a very different person when you're on all these things, but you still have to pay the consequences.
Yeah.
And and it just like, holy shit.
Dude has not paid any consequences ever.
No.
Oh, fucking bananas, man.
But yeah, there's one on Peacock. There's one on Netflix. Like, just look up the Murdoch.
Yeah, trials. I watched it. I watched the one on Netflix. I have no doubt.
HBO, sorry. Yeah, HBO Max.
I will no doubt go down the rabbit hole. I have, again, no doubt that like Dateline and 2020 are going to do their like follow-ups, and I just love me some Dateline. Mallory.
That was her name. God damn it. Sorry. Mallory.
That's
Mallory
okay.
Beach.
So
that was her name.
That's a good one. I mean, it's not a good case, but you all know what I mean.
They're good documentaries.
They're good documentaries.
And they'll make you mad and they should.
Yes.
They should, because we're supposed to have due process in this country. You're not always promised justice. You're promised due process. And when you have a family that they are the town solicitor, so they decide what goes to trial and what doesn't. And they also cash in as defendants for lawsuits. I mean,
yeah.
Of course they're going to be corrupt.
So corrupt. It's amazing that it went this long, but people, and other people benefited from it too. So that's why they let it slide. Like, it's easier for them to do nothing. Yeah,
his one of the lawyers was badgering, like one of the witnesses, saying to him, like, aren't you mad at Alec for taking your money? He owes you all this money. And this man's going, you can't carry around all that hate, all that anger all the time. Like, yeah, you can. I am the last person to try that shit with, because it's just like, I don't buy it.
I don't know. Have you talked to Sonia? She's pretty good at it.
Like, you've got to be kidding me. Really? That's on us too. Like, we can't even be mad.
No, you're not even being mad correctly.
Right. So anyway.
But it's on all the channels. You can find it.
Yeah. All the YouTubes, all over YouTube, you can see clips.
Yeah. Let's wrap this up. My friend, where can people find you?
I am at Brooklyn Margot on Twitter. On Instagram, I'm at Brooklyn Fit Chick. My site is brooklynfitchick.com, and I'm on TikTok at Margot Donahue.
And you can find me at thesoniashow.com, The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. That's right, and the TikTok. If you like our show, if you like dorking out, you like the sound of our voices, you can also listen to us at What a Creep, where we talk about creeps like Alex Murdaugh. And from the past, the present, and then we end every episode with someone who's not a creep, so you don't end the episode thinking the world is garbage. Even though sometimes it feels that way. If you like this show and you want to give us a review, that would be fabulous. It really helps us find our people. And you can find us at dorkingoutshow.com and Dorking Out Show on Twitter. And sometimes I even check our Facebook. Sometimes. This was super fun. I'm so glad that we finally talked about Mr. Mom so that we could sing its praises and talk about how much we love Michael Keaton and Teri Garr.
They're just like my dream couple.
They really are. It's such a good one. So I got to go because I got to eat some scooter too.